Let's get right to some of the questions. Number one is, my mother is 51 years old. She's been diagnosed with arthritis. And every time she goes to do physical therapy, her joints bother her for days after. What would your system do for her?
Well, that's a huge problem. There's probably 25 million people just in the United States alone who have arthritis. And unfortunately, arthritis is an inflammation, and any time you do any type of active movement on that joint, it becomes irritated. We've created a way with the ARP, with the use of the ARP, to stimulate the muscle without them having to irritate the joint. So now they have the best of all worlds. They're getting blood supply to that area. They're regaining their strength. I talk to arthritis patients all over the United States, basically all over the world, and one of the biggest issues that they have is exercising. They can't exercise comfortably. So they're all delegated to doing one type of exercise, swimming. That's it, because there's no force on the joint. If they do physical therapy, if they do hire a personal trainer, it irritates that joint, and so it becomes worse. What we've done is we've created a system where we don't affect that joint at all. We only do the muscle. So now we have no irritation in that joint, and they get tremendous results.
Question 2 on House of Pain today is, a listener writes, I have headaches every day. I live on pain medication. What can your system do for me, if anything?
Well, headaches are a little bit different animal if it is how it's diagnosed. I mean, there's so many contributing factors to a headache. But the one thing that we can definitely do, and that is we can relax the shoulder muscles, taking the pressure off the occipital ridge. And in most cases, I'd say over 90% of the time, they're not going to have a headache. We have a kind of a game that we play with headache patients when they come into the clinic. We try to get them without having a headache. They come in at, say you come in at a 10 with a headache, screaming headache. We try to get them out of that headache in less than a minute by simply relaxing the appropriate muscle.
Question 3, I have no pain, but I am tight all the time and I fatigue very quickly. What can the clinic do for me?
Well, that's a very good question. And there's a lot of people that fall into that category, and they think, well, I'm just naturally tight. I mean, you can't believe how many patients come in and say, I've been tight since I've been 10, 11, 12 years old, and, now I'm 60, 70 years old, and I'm, I can't move the way I want to move. I'm too tight. Well, think about, why are you tight? Not that you're tight. The tightness is nothing more than just a symptom of a much larger problem, and that is that those muscles are not getting the appropriate signal to work efficiently. I had a National Hockey League player in this week, and hasn't been able to skate, almost lost his job. They're going to give him another try next year, and they're going to be blown away by his results. But he came in, he couldn't squat, he couldn't bend over without pain of 8 or 9. We relaxed the muscles in the last 2 days. He just went out and skated 75 full sprints on the ice for the first time in 6 years without any pain whatsoever. All we did was send the proper signal to the muscle to work in harmony with the other muscles. That's all we did.
Sounds pretty simple.
It is simple, but the results are phenomenal.
Next question. I have shoulder pain mainly at night. What could your clinic do for me? I want to interject a question on that question. Why does he mention only at night?
Well, because when you sleep and apply pressure to the shoulder, that's what ignites the sensation and the symptom of pain. And again, she has probably the very similar thing as you had, and that is that tissue becomes irritated. And when it becomes irritated, those muscles shut down. And when the muscles shut down, any type of sensitivity, laying on it, touching it, pushing on it, is going to hurt. What's the first thing I said to you? Don't touch your elbow. Don't keep pushing on your elbow, because when you do that, you're sending a neurological signal that there's still a problem there. Just because you're point sensitive doesn't mean you have a continuum problem. It's just a feeling, a memory. Well, in her case, we need to identify where that signal is coming from, and then identify it, get rid of it, and then build the tissue to where it can absorb proper force.
That's the voice of Dennis Thompson. He's the founder of the ARP Wave Clinic. His clinic's in Burnsville, corporate office, Apple Valley. He'll take emails at his office. His staff or himself will answer your question confidentially, make an appointment for you. come by and check you out free. That's what they'll do. They'll give you a free evaluation to see if they can help you. ARPWave.com, ARPWave.com if you have a question. And if you'd like it to be on the air like the following one, all you have to do is let us know. This is another one about their mother. We probably should have saved these ones for Mother's Day weekend. My mother's been diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. I have trouble saying that. Can your clinic help her? She has been to many doctors, including the Mayo Clinic, and has gotten no relief.
100% we can help her. I can tell you exactly why. And let's think of it in simplistic terms. Where the problem is, where they feel it, is in the bottom of the foot. So what we do is we try to put them in a stretching movement. Or what we do is many of our patients have come to us and said, well, you know, I've been rubbing my foot with a golf ball, stepping on a golf ball. Okay. Well, if that's where the problem ended, which it is, then does it make sense to irritate it more than it's already being irritated?
Probably not.
No, not at all. So what we do is we do the evaluation, determine is the nervous system firing correctly. If it isn't, we have the doctor turn those switches on. And then they come to us on the ARP side of the equation, and that's where the guarantee is. In the ARP side, we guarantee we'll get you out of pain. Does the doctor guarantee anything? Absolutely not. The doctor has nothing to do with our guarantee. The only guarantee that we have is we're going to get you out of pain in the ARP side. And what we would do is identify where that signal is coming from. In almost every single case, it's coming from behind the knee. Now, stop and think about this. If you have a problem behind the knee and the calf muscle, which is directly below the knee, is now coming into play, it shortens to protect that area. When it shortens, it applies pressure on the Achilles, so it pulls on the Achilles, the back of your ankle.
Right.
And as it pulls on the Achilles, guess what else is going to pull? On the bottom of your foot. And that's the end of the chain. So if all you do is ever work on the end of the chain, you're not going to solve the problem. We work on the beginning of the chain, problem's gone.
And that's one of those problems through this fasciitis. Is that how you say
Absolutely.
it? That seems to nag people. Wasn't it one of was it Trail brand? Some wolf, or no, it wasn't branded. Was it some former Timberwolf had it?
Absolutely.
And he couldn't get rid of it and ended his career.
Most NFL and NBA people will tell you it is part of the sport. I will tell you that's hogwash.
The system is very effective. I know there's people out there listening. This sounds too good to be true, and it's probably too expensive for me, but it's really not, right?
Absolutely not. It's probably the least expensive type of therapy they'll ever go through for the results that they're guaranteed to get.
What kind of money does it cost?
Talking about $1,500. They get 10 sessions, and then we send them home with the ARP, A-R-P. We send them home with the ARP to do their therapeutic exercise,
I'm doing now.
which you're doing now. They'll be on that for 33 days, and the quality of their life will change in that 33 days.
If you'd like more information, 952-431-9708, or you can go to arpwave.com, arpwave.com. And again, you have a special offer for the listeners?
Special offer is come in, let us see if we can help you. There's absolutely no charge. We'll do a simple evaluation to determine is the nervous system sending the appropriate signal to the muscles to stabilize you, and then we'll identify exactly where the origin of your problem is, not where you feel it.
Fascinating stuff as always. It's always good to see another edition of House of Pain in the books.